the business at Sloan during his period here?
Sloan was just he was,
But not as an investor, but when, during his time frame, was it a vibrant hotel?
yeah,
Sounds like that was the only time.
oh yeah.
It was like
It
17.
was, they were making money and he was a good manager. He was in that time frame, a woman couldn't be the guardian for her own children. He was the guardian. Even though she was still living and they were living with her, he was their guardian, the children's guardian, and he was the manager, named the manager of the estate. And since he was a banker and he had been involved with it, evidently loaning or managing Sparks' money, Sparks had, I'm trying to remember, there's just too much information. I have his probate after he died, and the children got most of the money. The children got more money than the wife did, for some reason.
Did you say that Sparks owned about 450 acres of what is now Hanging Rock?
He owned 1,400 to 1,800 acres. Yes, the description mentions crossing the mountain near Hanging Rock. It mentions a couple other things. I have sketched it out and tried to overlay it with what's there now. I haven't been successful in doing it, but Tice ended up buying all that. Now Sparks also bought more acreage up the mountain from here. He bought land, one piece where a border was crossing the top of the mountain here and adjoining Cook's Lesser Wall. Now we all know about Cook's Wall now, but the big thing we call Cook's Wall was called Cook's Great Wall. And there was a smaller wall, which I'm not sure which one it is, that was called Cook's Lesser Wall.
Down to Devil's, whatever.
Probably down towards Devil's
Chimney.
Devil's Chimney in that area, going down towards there. But then, they bought up mineral rights. One of the first things they did before they bought the property is they bought a right-of-way between here and the road. Because if you remember looking at that picture, the property didn't go to the road. So before they bought the property, in September of 1900, they actually bought a right-of-way to get to to connect to the property to the road.
When did Winston-Salem Foundation kind of get involved with turning over Hanging Rock to the state?
That's a whole, I don't really know that story. Thank y'all. I don't really know that story. Jason Anthony did more research, I know, than anybody on how Hanging Rock became Hanging Rock in the 1920s. A Smith man from Winston was going to turn it into a resort. He bought,
Still platted, eh?
They have the plans for that, where the hotel was going to be and where the lake was going to be, and they were going to. He was going to give away lots to people that would promise to build up there. And all that depression just blew all that up.
Yeah, but it seems like, the Episcopalians coming in here in 1931, and, the state had sometime in there because the CCC was building the dam and the bathhouse and all that in the mid-30s. So,
Yeah. It's, I don't know. I don't know the whole story, and it's been, it's exhausting in a lot of ways. And I need to write it. I need to write it down. And I just,
Your favorite thing?
when I go back and look
you
at,
got it recorded right here.
when I go back and look
To
at,
start.
how much information I have, what you've seen today is just the tip of the iceberg. It's just the tip of the
This has
iceberg.
been great, thank you.
And I don't know, my interest is really, I won't say it stops with Cicero Tice dying and it no longer being Vade Mecum Springs, but that's my primary interest. And then I got sidetracked and sideswiped by this circus story and got so deep into that I end up in Sarasota, Florida, giving a presentation.
Thanks, Steve.
Thanks, y'all.
Thanks, Steve.
Thank
Great
you.
job.
giving that presentation to the Circus Historical Society. But fortunately, my giving presentations on the Springs ended up in the newspaper and on the internet. And a man named Fred Dollinger, who at the time was a curator of the Circus World Museum in Baraboo, Wisconsin. Why is there a circus in Baraboo? That's where the Ringling Brothers are from. I got an email out of the blue from this guy wanting to know about John Sparks in Stokes County. I didn't even know his real name wasn't Sparks until he contacted me. Those early pictures of John and Charlie, he sent those to me. He's the one that invited me to Sarasota. I sent him the story when I found out about this. The kid, and I'm like, do you think this is real? He said, absolutely, it's real. So just, I posted, so if you're interested in research, ancestry, absolutely, as much as it costs. Maybe you can go to the library and get it for free. Family Search is the Mormons' genealogical, and it's free. And it was Family Search where I found out all the information about the kid coming from England. Because with Ancestry, you have to pay another level of membership to search international records, but not with Family Search. Newspapers.com. They charge a fee, but it's very reasonable. You can text search almost every newspaper in the world that's ever been printed. Newspapers.com. It's an incredible, that's where the floodgates of information broke open. I discovered that and sat up one night till 3 or 4 o'clock in the morning. It was just one oh my gosh moment. Just one oh my gosh moment after another.
Where's the closest Mormon library to here?
What?
The closest Mormon library.
I don't know.
You know, there's one up in Franklin.
I really don't know that. I just know that, you know, that Family Search is the Mormon repository of genealogical information. So if you get on Family Search, and especially Family Search, and you start a family tree, they will almost weekly send you hints because they link you to every other family tree that they have in their repository. My middle name is DePriest. My dad's middle name is DePriest, and his grandfather's middle name is DePriest. It is not a Stokes County name. And my grandmother only knew that it was only an old family surname. One day out of the blue, we think we found one of your ancestors, so-and-so DePriest. And by gosh, I finally found out it was my great-grandfather's grandfather, who a second child bride named her firstborn after, her grandfather. And it was buried on the maternal side, which made it really hard to find. So, you know, so I posted a thing on Ancestry about John Sparks and his family months ago, if not years ago, and yesterday I get this notice from someone who is John Sparks' sister-in-law's great-great-granddaughter. And she has family pictures of Aunt Nanny and her children. That last picture.
There?
Yeah. And the picture of Charlie's wife, that there's no known picture of her. And so this stuff is sitting in family libraries, family photo albums, all over the country that they've lost connection to and don't know, or don't know that they have any significance to anybody. And you just put it out there and you never know. You go fishing. And then every once in a while you reel in the big one. A lot of times you come up, it's a bad day at the lake.
Do you have any more info about timeframes on renovation one?
No.
No, so April,
No.
about Robin in April,
Robin?
is what I heard.
Robin had a conflict, could not be here today. She invited me last summer to review all those materials. So I took my little phone and took lots and lots and lots of pictures. And I asked her about sharing that today. She said absolutely. And she said if anybody has any questions, contact her and she'll be glad to set up an appointment and talk with you. You know, the park has gotten no extra, you could maybe, former park ranger and superintendent back here and workers, answer, to my knowledge, the park has gotten no extra staff and no extra money since all this stuff was added to the park.
10 years.
10 years. And you know, if you have upset about the progress that's down here, please don't misdirect it towards our park staff. Please don't. Our
You can find a guy in Raleigh, which is
I mean,
hard to do,
this park is so busy they have to lock the gates some days and not let anybody else in. And not only have they added all this land, they've added 200 acres just recently. At my house in Danbury, I now have a park in my backyard. I'm on the far eastern end of the park now.
Yeah.
Is that the
My land adjoins the park.
Taylor descendants?
Yeah.
Not Taylor's,
Martin.
Martin's. And previous to that, they bought all the land on the other south side of the mountain,
Right.
up Orell Road, and connecting over a lot more over towards Flat Shoals. Hundreds of acres over there. No new money, no new staff. Now it's undeveloped, but you know, they want to create a campground up on Orell Road. They're trying to create more places for people to stay at Hanging Rock, but they can't put more people on top of the mountain. They're just,
I remember Hanging Rock as being known as the most visited park in the state.
it's not the most visited. Powell Mountain is a little more, mainly because it's right on 52.
I think that just moves and moves around from year. I think it changes from year to year. Some years Hanging Rock is.
Hanging Rock it's in the top 5. And it approached a million or went over 1 million visitors last year. The pandemic, you know, people were looking for places to go outdoors. And now they've discovered it and they ain't going home. They're not going to stop coming now.
Does everybody in this room have a personal connection to the history of the park and of this place?
Yeah. Well, he grew up here. I have pictures from a family who were young girls at the time. They brought soldiers that stayed in the CCC camp during World War II. And they have pictures. These young girls, the Danbury girls, were very attracted to these young soldiers. I have a whole folio of pictures of young girls with these soldiers up at Hanging Rock. I have an invitation to a dance where the soldiers sent an invitation to the girls in Danbury to attend a dance they were holding at Hanging Rock.
Can you imagine how little was going on and how big a deal that was?
Yeah.
You know?
That house was the most beautiful, it was on the front cover of the calendar.
Right. Yeah. And the not the gift shop, the concession stand up at the bathhouse on top, that's an addition. I have pictures of the bathhouse before that was big. There used to be a observation platform out there. So that was added on. I've got a picture of a little trailer called says the Hanging Rock Concession Stand from that family. I've shared all these pictures with Robin so they can put them in the archives up there, but because a family in Danbury, I've still got them. I can't get them to take the pictures back.
My uncle, who would have been 100 last year, had a huge case of medals from the CCC camps that he won in athletic contests up here.
Wow.
When he was working on the CCC.
Now, who was your uncle?
Joe Wilson.
Well, you know, a lot of the people ended up marrying local. A lot of the guys ended up marrying local girls and staying around.
You should get a copy, yeah, you're gonna give him a copy of that?
It'll be here, it'll be on Facebook, YouTube, anywhere it can be shared, so we'll make sure it's, get it around.
This is my son, by the way. One of my sons, the one that still lives locally. So anyway, I have an interest in this place. I love this place, but I certainly don't have the personal connection that Josh was a counselor here one year.
I've heard the ghosts in the hotel with my Australian friend.
Oh, yeah, yeah.
I don't know if anybody else knows about that, but
Oh, yeah.
And
crazy.
Janice
stuff.
Henderson Hunsucker was a counselor here for years.
Our son was one of her campers.
Huh?
Our son, Amanda was one of her campers.
Oh, really?
Little
Came to
guy.
that camp.
Well,
And we
she,
got,
she started the Save Sorrowtown.
yeah, we had our wedding celebration here. We got married on the property, but we had the reception.
And they used,
Everybody stayed.
I mean, they used to rent the thing out for, to the local,
Yeah.
was it Contra Dance
Yeah, it was a
group?
Contra Dance weekend.
Contra Dance weekend, they called it Feet Retreat. And they
Yeah.
came up here twice a year, and the gym was perfect.
When we had our wedding here in '87, you could stay in the hotel for $6 per person per night. That's what the state charged, yeah, that's what, it was a 4-H camp
Yeah.
then, that's what the state charged then.
Oh, wow.
So you know, there's a question of how patient you can be. I don't know. I know, having been an elected official, and I'm still somewhat an elected official, that one of the things that makes you, I won't say the maddest, is to get blamed for things that aren't your fault.
Yeah.
And to get yelled at for things that you don't even know about. So I'm not saying you shouldn't contact elected officials, but do it in a way that shows you're concerned and just really would like to know what's going on and where we are with this thing, and you support it.
How about that movie that was made up here? How many movies has this site been involved in?
I really don't know. Now, there's an interesting movie that was done in 1940 that started here. It's called The Town Movie. It's on YouTube. It's called The Town Movie. And the guy that made it, the Episcopal Church in Walnut Cove, the rector there, one of his jobs was to run the summer camp up here. So at 1940, that rector was an amateur photographer with a little like Super 8 type wind up black and white no sound camera. And he made a movie, and it starts here and goes down the road towards Danbury, and it stops at a political rally in Danbury. It goes to Walnut Cove and shows businesses and people walking on the street, and then it goes to Pine Hall. And it's just called Town Movie.
So my relatives in it.
Hmm?
My mom has got my relatives in it.
Well, they showed it, the Historical Society showed it in Walnut Cove, and it was narrated that day by somebody that knew almost everybody that was in it. And a lot of people that were in that movie came that day.
This sounds like a thing Jesse Sams once told me about.
Jesse probably made copies of it and tried to sell them.
That may be.
Yeah, it is. You can get it on for free. I told Jesse.
But it's on YouTube for free. If you don't know Jesse, we love Jesse. Jesse is Danbury's, if you ever watched Green Acres, you know, Mr. Haney on Green Acres that drove a truck around, was always trying to sell you something out of, well, Jesse's an honest Mr. Haney.
He has made us a bunch of very good deals on horse-drawn equipment, I'll tell you that.
And was a good neighbor. until
And a
they
cello.
moved.
You got a cello from Jesse.
Eventually.
There was a little B-grade movie in the late nineties called Patron Saint of Liars. Anybody heard of that? Except you.
Patron saint of liars.
I was watching, I happened to be up one night at 3 in the morning and flipping channels, and I saw Cheshire Hall. And I said, well, there were other, films. And then I saw a house that looked like this man's house, Joe's house. And I said, well, there are a lot of houses like that too. But then they showed the end of Cheshire Hall with the fire escape, and I said, I know.
Yeah.
That's Vade Mecum. I
Wow.
know that that's where it is. And then they showed another scene in Joe's kitchen. And I said, well, I know whose house that is then. You know, but it had Jennifer Love Hewitt and Ellen Burstyn were two of the people. It was a big love movie. There was nothing particularly great about it.
Have to
I
check.
asked Joe about it several, several months later, and he told me that he was an extra. He and his son were extras.
Well, I'll have to ask Joe. Joe, where was Steve's Pharmacy in Walnut Cove?
Oh, I have an ex-pharmacy in Walnut Cove.
Yeah, but Steve's was on Main Street.
Steve
Steve Harrison.
I have a postcard, I think it's of the TV tower on Sartown Mountain, but on the back it's stamped Steve's Pharmacy.
Steve's Pharmacy. That was Steve Harrison.
Well, this took longer than I expected to, but I appreciate your patience.
All right.
I appreciate you coming.